Hi guys, welcome to another video for the channel. Today we're just going to do a quick overview of an event we attended at Warhammer World in Nottingham over the weekend. So it was a 2,000 point game, a 2,000 point event, 5 games over 2 days, and plays the 5 out of 6 missions in the, or 4 out of 6 missions?
4 out of 6 missions.
Open battle twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was open battle, meeting engagement, flank attack,
Command and control, open battle again. Yeah. So yeah, the 4 out of 6 missions from the Warhammer Old World rulebook. All in all, I'd say it was an enjoyable event.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. First tournament for both of us.
First tournament for Old World, first match play tournament for both of us. So we didn't go into it with massively high expectations, did we?
No.
Overall, I finished 2 wins, 3 losses. You went?
I went 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss.
Yeah, so I think you finished higher out of the 4 of us that went.
Yes.
So for my side, I took the Bretonians. Pretty standard list that seemed to be quite popular at the events. So it was 2 Knights of the Realm, Men at Arms, Peasant Bowman, 2 units Pegasus Knights, and then Killy Duke, Prophetess on Pegasus, Paladin on Pegasus. There seemed to be a lot of variables of Killy Duke, so that was the main thing that changed across the Bretonian boards. Most people ran Pegasus Knights, most people ran Knights, and then obviously everyone took the token Peasants. I was pretty happy with the list. I think next time I'd probably focus on a less monster slaying Duke and more of just a unit killing Duke, and maybe make the Grail Knights 6-man because they were quite strong when they did hit stuff. I'd say the MVP over the weekend, that's surprising, was probably Peasant Bowman. The amount of units they finished off.
Oh, okay.
Like they just nitpicked like Chaos Chariots on a wound that was running, skirmishers or small units that came in, fled and would eventually fled off the board. They just sort of guaranteed me a few points. The Grail Knights top tier. Game 5 they did Charge a Dragon, challenge 2 out and flee off the board, but we won't talk about that one. And then originally I did have Knights Errant instead of the Men at Arms, but I'd say the Men at Arms is definitely the better choice going into it at the end with better holding power. But
yeah, I managed to go the whole weekend without fighting Bretonians, which was quite surprising.
yes, and I didn't get a mirror match either, which was surprising.
Which you wanted, didn't you?
For saying, I think out of the 78 people, I think 15 were Bretonian players, so
it was a good portion.
There was a high chance of me playing a mirror match, but I never got it, so pretty happy with that.
And so I ran Dwarves, just Grand Army, standard. I ran a Ungrim led the list. He's okay. I had an Anvil and a Thane. I had 2 units of Dwarf Warriors with everything, which I would now no longer not do. Just so versatile.
Fell in love with Drilled.
Drilled is my favourite rule in Old World now. It's amazing. Before the event, I never ran it. I didn't see the value in it. I didn't think I was competent enough to use it, but I used it what I felt was pretty well over the weekend. Got me out some sticky situations, put me in some real good combats. Yeah, it's amazing. Brilliant rule. I had then 2 units of Hammerers, both of Rune of Confusion, one with the Rune of Courage, the one without Ungrim in it. 2 units of Iron Drakes with Troll Hammers and Cinderblast Bombs, and then 2 Gyros, just naked. Very symmetrical list. Pretty much carbon copy either side. You just got the Anvil in the middle. Mostly did pretty well. I struggled against the hardest loss. Well, the only loss I had in the hardest game was against Beastmen, and it was just number of single entities. I could not. I just got outmaneuvered. Did okay in certain situations, but yeah, I couldn't outmaneuver him. So I just tried my best. But MVP has to be the Gyros. Mainly for the final game. So the final game I played against Tomb Kings, and my Gyro, because I managed to get turn 1, managed to Vanguard and then charge into the Casket of Souls and lock it down for 3 turns. And that pretty much won me that game. That Casket didn't cast the spell. Cast the spell once and I passed leadership, so it literally did nothing all game.
Yeah, because that 6 reward -1 to hits menacing. As well as obviously the magic missile spell, but just the big aura complicates.
Well, they never cast that.
Well, they didn't get a chance.
Yeah. So yeah, they were great. I mean, most of the list was real good. The Warriors did really well. Turns out in Dwarf Mirror matches, the Rune of Confusion banner is perfect against Hammerers. Yeah, I've made some changes. The biggest downside, or the biggest disappointment, was Ungrim. He's a really cool character. I love the model. I love the lore. But if we're going more like the competitive route, the Monster Slayer never came up. He fought 4 monsters and never killed a single one of them. Never rolled a 6. There was 2 situations where all he had to do was roll a 6 and he just would have killed the monster fresh wounds. One was against a Necrosphinx, one was against a Giant. And not even just the Giant was 4 times he had to go and didn't do anything.
Yeah, then like we spoke about in the past, the lack of killing blow cuts him off from the rest of the things he wants to be charged.
He's not great against characters. He's not, but like he's good in the hammer as initiative 5 when you get charged. Most of the time he's going first, and he can usually cut down the front rank. 315 points. I expect him to do a lot more than kill 4 basic dudes. Anvil's pretty good, real good anti-magic this weekend. But overall, pretty happy. I mean, I was very happy with the result. First game made quite a large blunder of forgetting how Unbreakable worked.
Yeah, so let's do a quick run through of like, so what army did you play first?
I played
how did it go?
Troll Horde first. That was a draw. Scored exactly the same points. Literally 1,050 each. Mostly was fairly doing turn 1 and 2 was pretty good. Failed a fair few stupidities on the turn 1. And the Iron Drakes turn out are perfect for killing trolls. So I managed to kill the Troll Hag turn 2. One of them. But made a complete blunder. Then sort of back and forth throughout the game. The trolls were pretty rough when they got into combat. Ungrim whiffed against the Giant, so the Giant murdered his unit of hammers. He did proceed to hold the unit of trolls for a few turns, but that was about it. Gyro is great. Gyro's held his level 4 wizard down for 3 turns again, and got flank charged by trolls and didn't die. Anvil got stuck on a hill, which is the perfect place for us, unsurprisingly. But the final turn, on my turn 6, his turn 6 he went first, so I had one more turn after that. He charged the hag into my warriors. I should have fled probably, but what I actually could have done is I won the combat. She would have, because Unbreakable, my brain immediately went to it's a draw, stay locked in, but obviously she'd give ground, and I test not to follow, and then I could have just shot her with Troll Hammer torpedo. She only had 2 wounds left. Yeah. If I hit, I wounded, she's dead, pretty much, and that would have scored me another 400-ish points because it was the general. But we live and learn. And then I was kind of getting annoyed about it, but then I remembered that if I'd won that first game, I could have ended up fighting dragons the next game. So overall, pretty good. Second game was against High Elves, pretty back and forth. It was meat engagement, and Ungrim and the Anvil decided not to turn up, which was interesting.
It's unfortunate.
They did allow me to move. They allowed me to deploy the Anvil because I believe it's deploy and then move, so that got to come on. But I managed to get Ungrim to the other side of the board by the end of the game, so I was pretty happy with that. And the rest of it was pretty back and forth. That was again a draw. I was 70 points up, but it was still a draw. And then third game was against Beastmen. Absolutely rinsed. Got tabled by turn 6. It was 221 points against 2,300 pretty much. Near enough max scoring on the Beastmen side. And then Sunday they managed to win both games. One was against Dwarves. That was a pretty decent win, and then the final one was against Tomb Kings, which is probably my favourite game of the weekend because I managed to clutch the win. I thought I'd lost, but it turned out that in terms of what had died, Ungrim had died, the Anvil had died, and the 2 Gyros, and 1 Iron Drakes, but I still had all my infantry, like most of my infantry, so overall pretty good at that point.
Yeah.
So yes, it was a good weekend. How did your games go?
Yeah, game 1, first ever game against Empire, so that was challenging and surprising. Turn 1, the Prophetess did get cannonballed in the face and killed after obviously he'd removed enough knights to get rid of the lone character protection. Came up against, what was his list? Mainly a lot of artillery. He had General on Griffin, which was running away from the Duke for the first 2 turns before he got killing load. I think that was the only character I killing blowed over the weekend. But the double Hellblaster triple cannon sitting at the back was the coup de grace against most of the army.
A lot of guns.
I think what was the turning point, because that was my closest loss. Mm-hmm. So that was he got. I can't remember the overall score, but there was about 160 points difference to his end. Close. And turn 3, when I'd finished the general off with killing blow, my Duke was sort of left in all the artillery, and the Hellblaster got. He had 4 wounds left after the fight with his general. and he got 4 wounds through, and I just happened to fail all 4 saves. So if the Duke lived, he should have clean swept the artillery, and I think I'd have just took that one. But it was a close battle, and then it just, like I say, over the last couple of turns, artillery getting picked off and running to the sides didn't quite get me the win. Game 2 was against Dwarves. Yes, it was Ed Barford's Dwarf Doomslayer Slayer list, which was psychologically challenging, but basically tabled him by turn 6 just. I think Ungrim died at the end of turn 6 combat in a challenge with the Duke.
No kill and blow. If he really needs it because of that situation. The Monster Slayer is nice and all, but if he had killing blow, it means that characters like the Dukes, all that, just go, oh, okay, I could get in combat. He is initiative 5. He might be going first. He could just one-shot me, but there's no risk in it. There's literally no risk from him. And
I must admit, the lady was definitely on my side that game. I think his last 5 wounds that Ungrim did to him, I managed to sack the 5-up ward, and he was on a wound at that point. So it basically came down to me killing Ungrim or him killing my Duke, and I only won the game because of obviously the Rune of Dishonored and the Doomseeker rules. Even though I think he just had his dwarf cart left, I think I won by 200 points.
Yeah.
So it was a close game. Yeah, game 3 was Tomb Kings against John. That was definitely a challenging list. It was the usual Casket of Souls, 2 casters, Screaming Sword Catapult, 2 Necrosphinxes, 2 Scorpions, and there's Mortuary Cult. So we run 2 units of 4-up Shafty with Great Bows and some Swarms for fodder for the casting. Game 2, round 2, I looked out on. He miscast his first spell of the game, rolled the result that he couldn't cast for that turn. So that was sort of my turn to push up. The Duke charged the Necrosphinx, whiffed on the killing blow, and then got killing blowed back in return. So that was sort of the turning point in the game. And then after that, it was just slowly whittling me down. That was a heavy loss, I think. I think that was about 2,000 to 800 or something like that. So that was the heaviest loss of the day. And then going into the Sunday for day 2, played Orcs and Goblins. That was a bloodbath. I managed to obviously Plague of Rust the big blob of Black Orcs, multi-charge it with about 4 units, and just sort of keep pushing back. The BSB though was heroic. He managed to keep pushing back, finish the Grail Knights off, finish the Paladin off, before getting rear charged by the Duke. Then that's the first win on. Except we lost.
It was lost.
No, lost. That's the first game of day 2 was a win, but then that did unfortunately match me up on game 5 with a Warriors of Chaos player. Usual Chaos Dragon, level 4 Sorcerer.
Lots of chariots.
3 chariots, 2 units of singular Dragon Ogres, Warhounds, and 3 units of Forsaken. So he did have the Demonology Fly 12 Forsaken Throwing at combo.
Yeah.
That was a close game. I managed to hold the Dragon up for 3 turns with the Ground Knights just by issuing singular challenges. After they lost one, lost their stubborn, failed the break test by 1, then fled off the board. Nearly though in that game, I managed to get the Duke into the Dragon with the Men at Arms, hoping for killing blow. Didn't get the killing blow. He got killed in return, but I managed to win the combat by 1 just because of the Men at Arms combat res. So that was sort of my shining moment, that if he failed the break test, could have turned in my favour, but he passed it. Men at Arms held him up for 3 more turns, but then obviously tabled me bang on the end of turn 5 or 6, I think. So it was a close game for turns 1 or 2, but then obviously as soon as the Duke dies, it just slowly deteriorated away. But I'd say overall it was a fun weekend. It was
really good, yeah.
Definitely eye-opening to the different play of tactics that people run at events. Mm-hmm. So things like you said, drilled, you'd never not taken out.
No, yeah, I think I will openly admit, saying to Dan and the other guys I went with, that I feel like a giant hypocrite, because the entire time I've been playing the Dwarves for practice, I've just gone, I'm not expecting to win.
Low tier.
Yeah, I was, to be honest, I was in the opinion of, I think Dwarves I love the army, they're my favourite army in the whole world, but I was very much of the opinion of just meh, and Hammer is also being meh, and they did brilliantly. The drilled massively helps, especially on the Warriors, because with the rune, with the Anvil of Doom, being able to, I had a few times where I would drill, form, marching column, then march up, use the anvil, go back out into normal formation. Did it with the hammers. I mean, the hammers moved 15 inches in one turn from just doing that. So they were just like, oh, I'm halfway across the board and I'm a dwarf.
Yeah, like I say, retaining the formation on the way up as well. It's massive.
Against most stuff, when the hammers did get charged, it did sting. I got charged by the Colossus, the Tomb King Colossus, the Bone Giant from the Tomb
Yeah, the
Kings.
repetitive attack thing, yeah.
Yeah, and the unit of Sepulchral Stalkers. And because of the Rune of Confusion, went first, managed to kill 2 of the Sepulchral Stalkers, and luckily the Giant whiffed a little bit and only killed one guy. He could have murdered the entire unit, theoretically, but only killed one. Managed to put him back. So it was a good game, and I'd say I'll bite my teeth. The only thing about the list I changed, so I did write a slightly adapted version, was to get rid of Ungrim, put in another Thane, and then give them both a load of gun runes. And the premise is just, you can choose not to charge the hammers, but if you don't, I'm going to sit here just shooting you constantly with bursting and piercing. And I got another unit of Iron Drakes in that list. So
I suppose it also gives you the opportunity to pick off the fodder units like Chaos Warhounds, little skirmishes, things like that. Things that are just going to get in the way if you shoot them out of the way first and carry on.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually less, because the problem with Ungrim as well is when he dies, it's nearly a quarter of your army. It's 415 points that you're giving up.
Yeah.
Whereas if the Thane dies that's got the build, even if it's a general, it's like 200 odd. It's so.
It's less than it feels bad, yeah.
And then, because that's the biggest thing I learned from the weekend, is having big expensive bricks isn't the best, because
you don't want all your eggs in one basket.
No, and the Beastman player I played, because he had so many, he had like 3 individual Dragon Ogres, 3 Razor Gore, 3 units of Harpies, 2 units of Gore, and just loads of lots and lots of cheap single models or very small units. Oh, killed a unit, 50 points. Killed a unit, 50 points. It was irrelevant. Whereas as soon as you kill the unit of Warriors, it was 250 points. You kill the Hammers. But if I had a bigger unit of Hammers, the Dwarf player I played, it was a terrifying unit. He had a unit of 28 Hammers with a Shieldbearer Lord.
Shieldbearer King as well, wasn't
Yeah, Shieldbearer King. So unit was easily, maybe, 500-700. It was a lot of points. 7, maybe 800 points.
I suppose with the General being slayed, probably about half his army in terms of points.
Yeah, I didn't kill the General. But I managed to kill the Hammers, but with that I just was like, right, that's priority target number 1. Because it's so many points by the end of the game, it's such a large chunk. But really, really good games. Really enjoyed it. I mean, that was my biggest concern, was to run into kind of, don't know how to describe it, I don't know, not rules lawyering, because obviously it's a tournament, you got to be right, but more, it's a tournament, but there's nothing really on the line. There's no prizes, there's no money. So there's a certain point where, I'd be like, I forgot this, am I doing it? And if they said no, they're perfectly within their right to. But if they said yes, I'd be like, cool, I know where I stand in the game,
I'd say
nobody was like that.
Yeah, everyone I came up to was real chill. I mean, they made mistakes themselves, which you let them retcon. I think with it still only being out less than 12 months, and it being definitely, from a wording point of view, a complicated rule system.
Oh, yeah.
Naturally, people are going to make mistakes. So, but everyone was real chill about ones you made. They equally made as many, which, you just sort of crack on at the end of the day. Like you said, everyone's just paid to have a few games and a laugh. So
yeah, and it was really good. Well,
no real prize pool at the end.
Yeah, we've all agreed we're going to go to another one. I think we're all going to. So, I think we want to go to obviously some more, because this is technically a tournament. We'd also like.
It's match play, yeah. So you call it a tournament.
Yeah. We also want to go to some more events where we can play a bit more casually. Because the only thing we found with this one was every time for the past 3 months, we've been playing loads of games, as much game Old World we can. But every time you lose a game, you immediately go, I'm going to have to change my list. Because you're like, it's not efficient, or whatever. And that's in the end. I think most of us just went, right, I think this list is solid enough. We'll give it a go. Most of us did pretty well, and we all had a blast. And so and I think we'll perfect our list a bit more for another tournament. But for the events, we're probably going to take something more casual. I want to take I'm looking at Expeditionary Force, but it won't have 30 million gyrocopters in it, and it won't be full of min-maxy squads. I'd like to take some dwarf miners and some mining carts and a bit of fun like that. And then might be a new army on the rise, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some green little guys with hoods.
So you're saying the thing your army currently hates?
Yes. They're it's such a different playstyle to the dwarves, and I get to use magic. I know I have an ammo,
Yeah.
but I get to actually use magic, proper magic, not clanging hammers against metal magic. So yeah. But I really enjoyed it.
That was good. Yeah, like I say, upcoming events. Majority of Bretoni's painted now, so I'll still work on little bits, but I think now the Chaos Journal's on the rise, and I've got most of my armies. Well, a lot of the stuff that's in the news book is currently grey, so I might as well get some paint on that and get it on the table.
Yeah, really look forward to fighting against that.
What's wrong with more monsters? They're perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. If anyone's not watched any reviews on that book, don't, if you don't want to make yourself feel violently ill.
Unless you play Chaos, and then,
Then you'll love it. Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, all in all, a good weekend. Definitely get to more. I think the main learning curve was definitely a tactics point of view.
Yep.
Like you said, drilled. I saw a lot of shenanigans using marching column, turn manoeuvres with cavalry and chariots. So,
And not just running into charges. We all agreed on that. That charging, while always very tempting,
isn't the right decision.
isn't always the right decision. There's a lot of the time when not charging is usually beneficial. I mean, in a more casual setting where you're like, no, let's go for it, it's great. I had a few instances where it was a case of, I'd just go for the charge, when I'm looking at it going, well, actually, should I? The same with the hag. I was actually considering, well, actually, should I just flee? There was no risk of being caught.
Flee then shoot her, yeah.
And then I could have shot her. With that one, I was just like, now, fight her, see what
I
happens.
think I had a similar moment with the prophetess at one point, so I had in good hiding spots, and then on my turn I made the blunder of, I had 2 knights left, so I charged it into I want to say a tomb scorpion, to just sort of hold it up, but then naturally, because there's only 2 of me, the tomb scorpion killed me, I gave him a free reform, and then it meant in his turn he was within arc of the Pegasus,
Okay.
so then obviously he just charged it, snipped its wings, moved on. So like you said, charging isn't always the right option. In his turn, he could have easily charged these, killed them, and had the same scenario. But then it had been my turn next, so she'd have just flew away again. But it's all a learning curve. That's what events are for at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to go to some more.
Yes.
We are going to try and do some more battle reports, or try and do some battle reports.
Yeah, we did a tester, which obviously hasn't gone on the channel yet, so we'll get an official one up soon.
Well, we'll try and make it clean up a bit. But we want to play some bigger games. We want to try and maybe do some Mortal Empires, or no, not
Mighty Empires.
Mighty Empires. Yeah, that's the wrong thing. We got the old book for that, and it's very easy to convert over.
Got the Sieges in the Badlands book as well.
Yeah, we'd like to do some siege battles, general, some fun stuff. Try some small games, try some massive games. Seeing as collectively most of us have about,
a comfortable 5k list to run.
Yeah, we all have about easily 5k of each of our armies, maybe more. We'd like to, obviously, we'd like to have it all painted, but that means we have to pay 5,000 points of whatever we're playing. Unless I just run 1,000 points of Doom Seekers, which I may or may not have bought.
I think it would only be 14 models.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
all
really
good stuff to come.
And hopefully more cool stuff. So,
Any further notes, Tyler?
no, apart from I think Old World is the game that I'm just going to stick with for the time. Like, most of us play 40k and Sigmar and Heresy and all Lord of the Rings and all the basically too many games, to be honest, as most of us do. Yeah. But Old World is definitely the one we're all going to be focusing on.
Yeah, nothing beats a good old rank and flank.
Yeah, that's what this channel is mostly about. We might do some other stuff. Generally it's just tabletop gaming, but Old World is what we.
It's definitely on the pedestal at the minute.
Yeah, so I think that's what we'll mostly all be focusing on. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, hope everyone watching this enjoyed. We'll, like I say, try and attend more events in the future, try and do some pre and post games like we have for this. And yeah, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed. Take it easy.